Good morning, students. This is Maestra Moss. We are doing Engage New York Module 1, Lesson 8 today. Let's prepare our notebooks. So take out your math spiral and write the date, and we'll write the title, Module 1, Lesson 8. And this lesson is about rounding. So let's remind ourselves of the rounding wrap. Perhaps you've already memorized it, so please copy this with me. Circle the number, look next door, 5 or greater, add one more. I'm going to put a plus sign. 4 or less, just ignore. Okay, pause this if you need time to finish copying it down. And let's do an example what this wrap actually means. So I'm going to write a number. 3 and 278 thousandths. So let's say we're rounding this to the 10th. I'm going to underline the 10th. So this is how we would use the wrap. Circle the number, circling the 10th. Look next door. You can draw an arrow to the number to the right next door. 5 or greater, add one more. So I look at the 7. It is greater than 5. So I'm going to put a +1 right here because I need to add one more. And the number we're adding 1 to is the 2, the one that was in the 10th place, the one we were rounding to. So that means if I recopy this, the 2 now becomes a 3, and all the rest we just ignore. So I actually don't even need to copy down the 7 and the 8, and I'm done. We just rounded this number to the nearest 10th. Let's try that same number, and we'll round to the 100th. So I'm going to underline the 100th digit, 10th hundredth. So let's follow this. Circle the number, look next door, 5 or greater, add one more. It is 5 or greater, so I'm going to put a +1. And that means I'm ready to copy down my new number. So the 3 stays, decimal stays, the 2 stays, and now I do 7 + 1 is 8. And the other 8, I can just ignore it. I'm done. We just rounded it to the 10th, to the 100th. Let me do one more example that doesn't have a number that's 5 or more. So we'll do a smaller number. Okay, I chose numbers where they all are less than 5. So let's round this one to the 10th. Circle the number. You know what? In the wrap, you can also say digit. Circle the digit or circle the number. Look next door. 5 or greater, add one more. 4 or less, just ignore. So it's 4 or less. That means I am not going to add a +1. No adding a +1. So that was just an X. So that means that the 2 is going to stay the same, the decimal stays the same, and the 4 stays the same. And these, I don't even need to worry about them. I just ignore them. We are done. All right, hopefully this was a little bit helpful. So go ahead and put your name and date. This is page 65. And let's read the objective. Round a given decimal to any place using place value understanding and the vertical number line. I'll show you the vertical number line. Write the decomposition that helps you, and then round to the given place value. Draw number lines to explain your thinking. Circle the rounded value on each number line. So here is the number we're working with. 32 and 697 thousandths. I'm going to do A with you, and then you're going to do B and number 2 by yourself. So we need to round to the 10th, 100th, and the 1. So I'm going to go ahead and write this larger. And let's begin with the 10th. I'm actually going to write this 3 times. 1 for the 10th, 1 for the 100th, and 1 for the 1. Okay, so for the 10th, I'm going to use the rounding wrap. Circle the digit, look next door, 5 or greater, add 1 more. It is 5 or greater, so I'm going to put a +1 above the 6 and recopy it. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, now let's do the 100th. Circle the digit, look next door, 5 or greater, add 1 more, and now I'm ready to recopy. So 9 plus 1 is 10. So how do we write the 10? This is going to become a 0, and the 1, we carry it to the 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. So in this case, you actually do have to keep that 0, because if I took it off, if I erased it, then I would only be rounding to the 10th place again. And it wanted us to round to the 100th, so that's why I have to keep the 0. Okay, and our last one, the ones place, is right here. Think money, like $2. So circle the digit, look next door, 5 or greater, add 1 more. Okay, so now the 3 stays 3, and the 2 plus 1 becomes a 3. And I'm done. I don't even have to write the decimal or any zeros. It's just obvious, because if I have 33, then it's a whole number, and we know that the imaginary decimal is right there. I'm done. So what did it mean about a number line? A vertical number line. So this is a vertical number line. You'll see them on the next page. And the top line is supposed to be your largest value. So if we look at these numbers, the largest value is 33. So this would be 33. And the smallest value would be, well, these are actually exactly the same. So I'm just going to put the smallest value as the number that we started with before it was rounded. And that would mean the middle line that I'm going to label is the other number we got as our rounded answer. So you can see it's going from least to greatest. So go ahead and do the same concept for B and number 2. So pause the video and restart it when you're done. Okay, here we are again. This is page 66. And we have 2 vertical number lines. Let's read the directions. It says, a decimal number has 2 digits to the right of its decimal point. If we round it to the nearest tenth, the result is 13.7, or 13 7/10. What is the maximum possible value of this number? Use words in the number line to explain your reasoning. Include the midpoint on your number line. So on this graph, they already gave us 2 answers. So you know that this line is going to be in between these 2. Now notice, this is already 7/10 and 8/10. So that means to be in between those, it's going to have a number after it. So it wants to know what's the largest number that it could be. So for example, I'm just going to make this up. Let's say that was our number, because it said it has 2 digits to the right of the decimal, 1, 2. If we were to round this number to the nearest tenth, like it's asking us to do, that would mean I would circle the digit, look next door, 5 or greater, add 1 more, it's not. 4 or less, just ignore. I'm going to ignore it. And my answer would be 13 4/10. So this does not work because 13 4/10 would be way down here. So that is not the number they're looking for. So what two numbers could you put here so that when it's rounded, it would round to 13 7/10? So that is the challenge. So pause the video and try to figure that out. And then also go on to B, because B is asking the opposite. What is the smallest number that you could have of the same decimal? So again, you're going to have two numbers here to produce the smallest possible value of the decimal. So go ahead and pause. All right, and then let's just preview the rest of the lesson. So here's the exit ticket. I know this is hard to see. This is page 67, and it says round the quantity to the given place value. So this one you're rounding to the 10th, and this one you're rounding to the 100th. And it wants you to explain your thinking, draw a number line, explain how you know how to round. Okay, and then you can go on. The homework is, again, exactly the same format as the problem set. And then this is exactly the same format as that second homework page as well. So you're finding that middle point. What is the maximum you can round it to and the minimum you can round it to. So good job. Go ahead and pause the video and complete the lesson for today.